Well, I'm Arthur Butt. I am with the Department of Environmental Quality here in Richmond, Virginia, and I head up the TMDL modeling group for TMDLs, which are total maximum daily loads. Right now we are on James River. It is the southernmost river that flows into Chesapeake Bay. It is the largest river within one state. James River is all within Chesapeake Bay, Virginia. It goes about 600 miles, and it's the most southern watershed of the bay. The James River is controlled by flows from a man-made lake called Lake Muma that is managed by the Corps of Engineers, and so they modify the flow so that there's enough water to maintain a cold and warm water fishery. At the same time, there's enough water to feed the population in Lynchburg all the way down to Richmond, because a lot of the water from the James River is for drinking purposes. So it serves two purposes: habitat and water quality for drinking purposes. The problem with this watershed is that it has a lot of impairments associated from fecal coliform, which comes from wild animals and domestic animals and human usage. And so between those inputs of fecal coliform, the water becomes uninhabitable or breaks the mold of being able to swim in it or fish in it. And so it's called a designated use. It's called fishable and swimmable. And if you look down here real quickly, we'll look at some of the water and some of the rocks. Typically, this would be a very fast-flowing natural system. But what's happened is that we've changed the flow, we've changed the habitat, we've added nutrients to it and sediments to it from a lot of agricultural runoff. And so the whole habitat, the aquatic habitat, has changed. This is called a benthic habitat. And it doesn't hold a lot of the insects and large and small crustaceans like crayfish that fish would normally feed upon. So when you destroy this habitat, you start destroying the fisheries associated with it. And so our goal is to reestablish the benthic habitat so that you actually have a much more fishable and swimmable system. Further downstream, all of these impairments, all these nutrients go into causing further impairments in the Chesapeake Bay. And there, we're in a much larger habitat. It sustains a much larger fishery, from everything from oysters to clams to blue crabs to large fisheries of menhaden and the recreational fisheries that all of the tourists enjoy having. And so if you don't manage that properly and maintain the habitat for that, then all of that structure of our society down there, being from recreational and commercial fisheries to tourism, starts to suffer. And so everything hinges upon what happens up in the upper watershed here, because it will manifest itself further downstream and affect everyone downstream.